Hey there, today I'm going to show you how to draw a Stormtrooper from Star Wars Episode 7. So let's start above the eye lens and we're going to draw a straight line across our page, starting from the left and going all the way to the right. So I'll start my pen here and just pull the pen straight across to the right side. Okay, so now that we have that, we're going to start with the lens of the glass. So in the middle here, there's basically a little curve at the front here. So I'm going to start my pen on the left side of the center. Just draw a little curve like this. Now from here, I want to swoop down to the bottom and then come up in an angle to the top here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little bit of space here. This is going to come down this way, so right about here, I'm going to come down in an angle. On the left, I'm going to move over to the right, and I want to make sure that I keep the same spacing on both sides. So right about here, I'm going to come down at an angle. Now from this point, I just want to curve and round at the bottom and come straight into that point there. So what I'll do is I'll curve around and come straight into that point there. Let's go to the right side and do the same thing. So coming down and straight, and then rounding out the bottom into that point there. Okay, so there's the lens. Now we're going to get into the nose piece first before we get into the rest of the helmet. So from this point, I want to curve out and taper out a line to this point here. So right around here, I'm just going to curve up like that. Let's go to the right side and do the same thing. So at the bottom of this lens is where I'm going to start to flatten out and stop right about there. Now that we have that, we're going to angle two lines out on the side. So from here, I'm going to angle out two lines, two short lines like that. From here, we're going to come back in around the same length line. So from here, I'm going to pull in and pull in here as well. Now this is going to go towards the center, which is basically a curve. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start going straight and just round out the bottom. And this I'm going to connect with the right side. Okay, so we got the centerpiece, we got the lenses. Now let's go around this mask area in the center. So from here, I'm just going to go straight down at an angle, just on the outside of that lens, like so. From here, I'm going to follow the contour of this line just up here, just draw an angled line like so. Coming out like that. Now we're going to go straight down with these lines along the side. You see that I've come down just a little bit past that point there. Now these are going to come down to a point just below this point here. So right about here, draw an angled line coming down on the left and on the right. Now from here, all I need to do is connect these 2 points with a curve that sort of follows this contour. Let's go straight and start to turn. Like so. Okay, now we're going to add a little bit of detail in here. So from these 2 points, I'm going to connect that with a straight line. Connect that with a straight line like that. Now we're going to color all this all in black later on, but for now, let's draw a little bit of detail. So here, draw a little oval, and draw another oval on the other side. Now along this whole mouth grate, this little vent, I'm going to draw vertical lines all the way across, just to give it a little bit of texture. So you see I'm just spacing out these lines so that it's got a consistent space in between. It's going to look pretty cool once we're done this. So all the way across. So I'm going to try to keep that line consistent. And we're also going to be coloring this in black or like a dark gray afterwards. So this is actually good practice for just practicing straight lines. To get the feel and being comfortable with drawing straight lines towards you. It's always easier to draw straight lines towards your body than it is away or to left and right. Okay, so we got that across there. So that's pretty much the hardest part of this mask, but let's get into the outside part of the mask now. So from these 2 points, we're going to slightly angle them out. We're going to come down to right about here along the mask, so where these little rivets are. So from this point, draw a little angle like that. From here, draw a little angle like so. Now this gets rounded out and we're going to come down to the chin. So the chin is pretty big, it's pretty thick. We're going to come down to points here, right about here. So let's take this point here and we're going to round out the side of the jaw. Kind of like that. Let's do the same on the right, kind of like so. Now they're going to come down to a point roughly about here. So I'm going to take this and just come straight down in an angle just before I start turning them around So I'm going to round out the bottom, and it comes up in a little bit of curve in the middle here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a point right there in the middle. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to round out the bottom of the chin, and then just sort of go in towards that point. And go across to the right side. See, it comes down again, and it goes, rounds out just like that. Okay, so now we got the bottom of the chin. Let's draw a little bit of detail here. So that there's this little circle inset here. So from this corner straight down, we're going to draw a big circle. And from here, we're going to draw a smaller circle from inside that, and a very tiny one inside that as well. Okay, now from here, we're going to just trace this outer perimeter line in the inside here, because there's a little bit of a frame or a trim. So from here, I'm going to take this point and curve up. So you see it's sort of in between this line and between that line. Come down right into that inset. Now from here, I'm going to curve this all the way into the back of the mask here. So I'm just going to curve around like that. From here, I'm going to curve around like so. Now there's a little bit of a thicker vent on the side here. So what I'm going to do is, right up about here somewhere, I'm just going to pull a line down. Just a little angled line. And then from here I'm just going to follow that turn and then just taper it into a point as I go up. From here I can just go ahead and color that in black. Okay, so now we got that. Let's do the little slits that go all the way along the side of the mask here. So we're going to try to follow a straight line, but right about here I'm going to draw a little hash line. And I'll leave a little space and just following all the way across up to about there. And let's do the same thing on this side. So making sure I start at the same height. Just like so. Okay, so we got that. Let's draw a couple, a little bit more detail before we get to the top of the head. So right about here, we're going to draw a three-sided box. Just on the side of the temples. Kind of like that. Now let's get into the top of the head. Now this is very important that we get the spacing right. So from here, I kind of want to get the height of the head sort of similar to that part of the face. So I'm using my fingers to guide the measurement. So from here, this part, to here, kind of want the top of the head to be around the same height. So this is where I'm going to put a little point of reference up there. From here I'm going to go straight up and start to turn into that point there. So start, we're going to go up, and just start to turn. And you can take pauses if you need to, just to make sure that you get right into that point like that. Let's go to the other side here. So I'm going to pull this line around. Just take a pause, make sure the lines are balanced, and pull that right into there, just like so. Now from here, there's a line just above this, because this part, this little band, is black. So I'm going to take this line and pull it all the way across this way. Now that we got that, let's draw that other trim, but on the sides of the trim, I'm going to leave a little bit of space here. So from here, I'm going to go to this point on this side. So I just put two little reference points there. Let's go across. Just like so. Now from this point, I'm going to curve up into the side of the head. On this side, I'll curve up to the side of the head. And on the sides here, again, I'm going to do these little three-sided boxes. And this one, you can probably go a little bit bigger if you want. Now, the final part is the two little boxes on the top corners. So I'm going to draw one angled out that way and one angled out this way. And once you get this all colored in, drawing everything in black inside and everything else white, it'll look pretty cool. So there we have it. There's a Stormtrooper from episode 7. I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and if you did, please give us a like and be sure to subscribe so that you get notification on when we post a new video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.